We have details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 20 minutes. If you stay with us, the bulletin is also live on DSTV, channel 279. We're on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. There are fears of a likely upsurge in COVID-19 cases in Ghana, as cases are still being recorded in some health facilities across the country. Health experts are warning the virus now presents with malaria-like symptoms, urging an uptake in the vaccine drive. My colleague Sarah Penkrong has more in the following report.
Following the announcement by the WHO that COVID-19 is no longer a public health emergency and a subsequent address by President Akufo-Addo on the state of the virus in the country, it appears many have let down their guards. Recent cases, according to authorities, are presented in different forms. So, it is important that the country does not relax on its oars with interventions aimed at containing them.
I have had to isolate one of our staff nurses because she tested positive to COVID. Actually, somebody I hear came from, is it Canada or so, had burns, and if it were in times past, we would have closed down the burns unit. But when you're entering into areas that are congested, please still keep the mask on, in the hospital premises especially. So my nurses on the burns unit attended to this patient. He passed away. We do the COVID test and it's positive. So we've asked the rest to also test, and maybe the reports will come to me and we'll see what happens.
Dr. Emmanuel Adipa Adapo, at a workshop for journalists on vaccine uptake in the country, addressed the seriousness of the issue.
Well, we have gotten to a point where in a democratic setting, for instance, many people believe that they have the right to their lives and the right to their bodies. But a lot also do not realize that that right usually ends where another man's right begins. So we have to be each other's keeper. I think we have begun to rest a bit on our oars in educating the public as to where we are. What we have to do right now is to still conscientize the population.
Although there are no longer reports of severe cases, Ghana is yet to attain its herd immunity target for vaccination. Deputy Program Manager of the Expanded Program on Immunization, Naziru Tanko Mohammed, explained that it is important for people to get a booster jab at least every year to maintain immunity.
We still get a number of people who are still getting it. Because of that, there is still the need to continuously protect the population. And as we know, with virtually all the COVID-19 vaccines that we have, when you take it, you need to, from time to time, get boosters, because the protection that you get from the initial doses that you take, the primary series we'll call it, actually wanes down with time. We are saying that for the normal population every year, you get your booster. For those that are at high risk, you ensure that from 6 to 12 months you get the boosters. So it's really, really critical.
As of March 2024, over 14,935,000 persons, representing 45% of Ghana's population, had received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Also, over 11,850,000 persons are fully vaccinated, with over 6 million having received booster jabs. There are over 8 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccines currently available for the routine vaccination program to ensure everyone is protected.
The Ghana Medical Association fears the continuous establishment of new medical schools may likely affect training standards on medical officers. The association rather wants government to focus on expansion of existing medical schools to increase intake and train more medical professionals.
It's wrong for us to be creating new medical schools all over the place, and that's, I believe that external teaching sites is the way to go. And that's, for me, would ensure that standards are maintained, quality is ensured, and even good numbers can be. And it's also easy and cheap. But if you want to start a full-fledged medical school, and for those of you who have been going to KES, I still think that KES is even still struggling. UDS is struggling. And yet we are creating medical schools. Everybody is requesting for medical school. But Sunyani, why can't Sunyani Regional Hospital, for example, be under the KNUST, such that they send their students there, the same lecturers train them in their basic science, and go there and ensure that we have quality products, rather than now soliciting for lecturers? Because the advertising for lecturers, the school has been set. There are no lecturers.
Meanwhile, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Professor Fred Benka, says the inadequate number of doctors and medical professionals in the country should be addressed head-on. He is of the view that professional standards must not be compromised, whether new medical schools are built or the existing ones are expanded.
I think we all agree that we don't have enough doctors and that there's a need to have the doctors. Secondly, the problem is the answer new medical schools? Yeah, in some cases, we need new medical schools, but we also need an extension. And we have to plan these schools such that we meet the criteria that is required. I think what needs to be done is to develop this program over a period of time. So maybe in the next 2 decades, we are hoping to have 5 new medical schools. We set up a group, we determine the faculty that is required, and today we are struggling with faculty in the basic sciences like physiology, biochemistry, microbiology, and so on. These are all places that need to be filled. So we arrange in such a way that these people are trained and are ready to take this, to move the medical school forward.
The Pharmacy Council says it is yet to receive financial clearance of 320 doctors of pharmacy who are stranded due to delayed allowances. Reacting to TV3 story that highlighted the agony of Farm D House officers, the council says it is not responsible for their struggles but is working to address the issue. Christian Yali has the rest of the story.
Since June 2023, the doctors of pharmacy have been working around the clock, but without any monthly allowance and facing harsh economic realities. 10 months into their mandatory house job, what should have been a pleasant experience has become their nemesis.
There's nothing, there's no hope. 10 months into house jobs, I feel disappointed that 12 years after the initiation of Farm D, nothing has been done to actually bring a clear-cut roadmap to what happens to us after school.
It's unfortunate. It's sad. Sometimes I go to bed, pray to God that he touches the heart of whoever is responsible for my salary.
A dreadful nightmare every step of the way, and a feeling of disappointment for these pharmacists who say life is fast catching up with them.
It's okay. I can't even continue. I can't continue. This traumatizing experience we are living.
Because it's like adulthood is catching up with you. The expectations are high and things have to be done.
The Pharmacy Council admits the clearance delays but says it is not responsible for the situation.
When people present things in a manner as if, oh, you are where they were graduating, why didn't you factor it in the budget? So that the moment they finish, then they have it. So when you are in housemanship and salesman, you haven't gotten money, you should have known from day one. It is not the council that gives clearance.
In my earlier interactions with some of the affected doctors of pharmacy, the registrar of the Pharmacy Council was blamed for the delays.
Unofficially, the registrar of the council has made some very derogatory comments that shows that he's not even interested in us getting our clearance.
But Dr. Amaning Dankwa has taken a strong exception to the claims.
If they know that it is me not doing my job and that is categorical, then why are they complaining? Then they should do the needful. It is sad that they rather don't know the profession they are entering.
In June 2023, the Ministry of Health wrote to the Finance Ministry requesting clearance for the 320 pharmacists. But as of April 2024, the doctors of pharmacy have yet to receive financial clearance.
We should all stop hoping and start acting.
The Pharmaceutical Council tells me they have engaged the Vice President and the Health Minister nominee on the issue.
We haven't received the clearance. The Ministry of Health haven't given any clearance to us.
Doc, you'd also agree that they are somewhat stranded because of the clearance they've not gotten.
They are not. You can choose to be stranded and choose to be frustrated. So, my brother, In life, you prepare for every stage that you are in. So you don't make it look as if somebody else is responsible.
The impact of these pharmacists on patient care is undeniable. Theirs is a plea for recognition of their invaluable contributions to the healthcare system. Christian Yale, TV3 News.
The Pharmacy Council has warned it will continue to go after persons and groups selling unapproved drugs to the public. Acting Registrar of the Pharmacy Council, Dr. Daniel Amening-Dankwa, tells TV3 after a swoop on an event on Saturday, April 20 in Accra that persons arrested will be screened and processed for court.
On Saturday, April 20, the Pharmacy Council, the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, and the Police Service raided an event in Accra. Some of the organizers were picked up by the police for selling unregistered products to the general populace. Acting Registrar of the Pharmacy Council, Dr. Daniel Amening-Dankwa, says medicines cannot be treated as ordinary articles of commerce. Hence, unlicensed vendors will be sanctioned.
Medicines are special commodities that the people who even offer it to users have a responsibility. And so medicines cannot be treated as ordinary articles of commerce where you come and buy it and go and use it. And so therefore, if you are not licensed, you are not authorized to present medicines to others, either selling or possessing it, the law frowns upon it.
Meanwhile, Director of Enforcement at the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, Vigil Pra Ishan, says the authority will work with the Pharmacy Council to curb activities of the sale of unregistered products to the people.
The purpose of the two agencies coming together was to, first of all, make sure, verify whether the products are registered with the Food and Drugs Authority. So we realized that some of the products that were being sold to the general public were not registered with the Food and Drugs Authority. So these ones were seized, and those involved were arrested and were asked to give portion statements. And those that will be found wanting will be put to court.
In a tragic turn of events, a 2-year-old toddler is currently fighting for his life at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital after being brutally attacked by a mixed shepherd breed dog on a Monday night. The attack resulted in severe injuries, including the tearing off of his buttocks and testicles. I've been diligently investigating this report and brings you the latest updates on this heartbreaking situation. Take a look.
On a Monday night, a family dog startled both family and neighbors by attacking a sleeping 2-year-old toddler, tragically tearing off some of his body parts. The toddler is enduring immense pain. Tears well up the mother's eyes as she narrates the haunting events of that tragic night when her baby faced danger.
I stepped into the washroom to relieve myself while my child slept peacefully in the courtyard. Suddenly, I heard a cry, assuming it was mainly because I had briefly left his side. I rushed back only to find the dog attacking my baby inside the mosquito net where we had been sleeping.
The father of the baby, Eugene Ado, is an employee of the owner of the dog. Despite his role as both a security guard, cleaner, cook and caretaker of the dog's owner, the family feels deeply disappointed by the owner's failure to fully accept responsibility of the incident that occurred, despite their supposed close relationship.
Eastern region. My boss brought my wife and child from the Eastern region to Accra because he disapproved of me spending too much time away with my family. Where I sleep is a small security room which gets hot and uncomfortable for the baby. That's why they sleep outside in the compound of the house. I witnessed my son's desperate struggle with the dog until he managed to break free and ran to me for comfort. It was then that I noticed something was terribly wrong.
Turning
on the light, I saw that the dog had scratched the face and bitten off portions of his buttocks.
The dog inflicted severe injuries on the toddler, leaving him in critical condition and requiring treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. However, the mounting medical bills are proving to be an overwhelming burden for the parents to bear. Dr. Glover Addy, a plastic surgeon at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, is overseeing the care and treatment of the toddler, working tirelessly to ensure the best possible outcome for the child's recovery.
In theater, we exposed the child and looked at the bottom. We realized that it was as if they pulled out areas around the testes, and then so that both testes were not there, and then also the anus was also sheared off, so you could see just a rim around the inner region, but all the skin around that place was all out. Fortunately, the penis was not touched, and then the urinary passage of the penis was intact, but the testes were all gone. And when we opened up, we realized that the intestine, the anus was torn in such a way that only remnants were sitting in the abdomen, with stools sitting in the abdomen. So we have to bring, it means that when it passes through, it's just going to pour on the raw area. The other thing too that you can do is to find another skin to patch up the place. But whether there'll be improvement for him to be able to control his stools, we can't tell.
As I stand here beside this innocent child, my heart weighs heavy with sorrow and disbelief. Imagine the horror of a peaceful night shattered by the vicious attack of a dog tearing away the innocence of a sleeping baby, leaving him with wounds that defy comprehension. I struggle to find words to express the pain, the anguish, and the sheer helplessness that consumes me. To see this precious child lying here, fighting for his life with his tiny body bearing the scars of a brutal assault, it is a nightmare I cannot wake up from.
I had to follow up to the home where the incident occurred, finding the mixed shepherd locked away. Despite my attempts, the dog's owner declined to speak to me on camera about the incident.
This one is a private thing for putting our images on nationwide television there. So I don't think I will allow that.
Some eyewitnesses, however, were willing to speak to me about the incident.
When I woke up, I watched outside and I saw a lady running out of the next house with her hands on her head. So I was wondering what was really going on. The next thing I saw, they had sat in a car and then driven out. So I was thinking maybe it was some robbers that had come to the house or something. So it was the next day that we came to ask, and then we were told that it was the dog in the house that did something to the little child.
Peter Olympio is a Rottweiler breeder.
All dogs need education, and dog owners as well. So you should find time with your dog, interact with your dog. If you can't do it, get a trainer. Get to understand your dog, get to understand what triggers your dog. If it's because of past trauma or it's something that is within the breed, then you know how to act and react around them. And you don't leave kids with dogs, no matter how well trained your dog is. Never leave your dogs with your children unsupervised.
Godwin Asidiba, TV3.
This family urgently needs help, so if you can assist, kindly come here to TV3 and let us hear from you shortly. The Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adam, says he's hopeful Ghana will soon receive the third tranche of $360 million from the IMF. According to him, despite initial hiccups with reaching an agreement with external creditors, a lot of progress has been made. He was addressing the press after the spring meetings of the World Bank and the IMF in Washington, D.C., and our reporter, Pakwesi Asare, was there and came through with this report.
October last year, if you considered what offer we received from the bondholders, that would have breached the threshold by about 5 percentage points. And so if you now narrowed it to about 1 percentage point, that tells you the effort that both bondholders and the government of Ghana put into this negotiation. And so we are working together again to come out with a scenario that will meet the threshold. So that's what I can say about how far we have narrowed the gap.
The finance minister has also been talking about the electricity crisis and also issues surrounding the economy. He says, so far, a lot of progress has been made.
Energy sector shortfalls. The energy sector continues to be our Achilles heel. And the current outages is quite disturbing. We are not happy about it ourselves. But the problems in the energy sector have accumulated for years. We have addressed some of these challenges, but some of them are also emerging that needs immediate attention.
To a rather sad story, some residents of Sekendita Krade are mourning the demise of a popular gospel musician and the twin city Kofi Owusu Atoda. Sources close to the musician confirmed the news that the popular gospel artist and producer succumbed to a short illness in the early hours of Sunday, April 21.
We are in the same choir. He plays the instrument and we sing. So we also called somebody to confirm if it was true, and then we were told that unfortunately it was true. I must say my sister immediately developed diarrhea. It's an unbearable news.
I heard it in traffic, like the traffic light turned green somewhere there, and I just turned, I nearly crashed into a car.
After church that we had some distress call about Koda's demise, and it's been a big blow to some of us in the ministry, and it's sad for us to see that those that's even the close part of Koda and stuff, you could see that they are all disturbed about the issue. So
many things were coming to our mind.
Somebody I've been learning from online, YouTube. I'm always listening to his music and information. Honestly, I didn't even know what to do with it because up to now I'm still processing it. I've not wrapped my head around it yet.
Around 2 o'clock today, I went to Mrs. Newman to have a shoot with her, and she broke the news to me that I heard that Koda has passed on. So we were all so sad. Even we couldn't have the shoot this afternoon because of the message. We had to postpone to next week.
It's so much to take in. Like, we have questions, but as Christians, we can't question. Yeah, it's too much to take in. We wish it didn't happen today.
It is alleged he battled kidney disease for a very long time before his demise. May his soul rest in perfect peace. But we'll definitely keep an eye on this development and update you subsequently. That's how we end the morning news this morning. My name is Godwin Asidiba. New Day continues shortly right after this break. Do stay with us. We have a mixed bag of stuff for you. Don't go anywhere. Bye.